The National Popular Vote Bill will guarantee the presidency to the candidate who receives the most popular votes in all 50 states and the District of Columbia. Today, 48 states use the so-called winner-take-all law that awards all of a state's electoral votes to the candidate receiving the most popular votes inside each separate state. One opponent of national popular vote claims that under the current state-by-state winner-take-all method of awarding electoral votes, quote, fraud is minimized because it is hard to predict where stolen votes will matter, unquote. In fact, it's easy to determine where stolen votes will matter. It's in the small handful of closely divided battleground states. 14 months before the 2016 election, candidate Scott Walker said,
"The nation as a whole is not going to elect the next president. 12 states are."
5 months before the 2012 election, Governor Mitt Romney said,
"And so all the money will get spent in 10 states."
In fact, all of the general election campaign events in 2012 and virtually all of the advertising expenditures were in the states within 3% of the national outcome. 2/3 of the general election campaign events took place in just 4 closely divided states: Ohio, Florida, Virginia, and Iowa. Executing electoral fraud without detection requires a situation in which a very small number of people can have a very large impact. Under the current state-by-state winner-take-all system, a small number of people in a closely divided battleground state can affect enough popular votes to flip all of that state's electoral votes, and hence the national outcome. A shift of 1,710 votes in California would have switched all of California's electoral votes and thereby defeated President Wilson in 1916, despite his nationwide lead of 579,000 votes. It is easier to flip 1,710 votes than 579,000 votes. 537 popular votes in Florida in 2000 flipped enough electoral votes to decide the national winner in an election in which 105 million votes were cast. As former Congressman and presidential candidate Tom Tancredo said, quote, "The issue of voter fraud won't entirely go away with the National Popular Vote Plan, but it is harder to mobilize massive voter fraud on the national level without getting caught than it is to do so in a few key states. Voter fraud is already a problem. The national popular vote makes it a smaller one." Former Indiana Senator and presidential candidate Birch Bayh said, quote, "With the Electoral College, relatively few irregular votes can reap a healthy reward in the form of a block of electoral votes because of the winner-take-all rule. Under the present system, fraudulent popular votes are much more likely to have a great impact by swinging enough blocks of electoral votes to reverse the election. A like number of fraudulent popular votes under direct election would likely have little effect on the national vote totals. There is no way anyone would want to excuse fraud. We have to do everything we can to find it, to punish those who participated in it. But one of the things we can do to limit fraud is to limit the benefits to be gained by fraud. Under a direct vote system, one fraudulent vote wins one vote in the return. In the Electoral College system, one fraudulent vote would mean 45 electoral votes or 28 electoral votes. In summary, the outcome of a presidential election is less likely to be affected by fraud with a single large nationwide pool of votes than under the current state-by-state winner-take-all system. Learn more at nationalpopularvote.com and from the book, Every Vote Equal, a state-based plan for electing the president by national popular vote, which can be read or downloaded for free or purchased from Amazon. You can help make 2016 the last presidential election in which 3/4 of Americans are ignored in presidential elections by emailing your state legislators at nationalpopularvote.com.